Sacrifice him. Let him die. We don't want him again. Oh, no wonder the Bible says in the book of John chapter 2. Now let me take you to that place. John chapter 2. Now see what it says concerning Jesus. In John chapter 2, from verse 23. It says, now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover, during the feast, many believed in his name when they saw the signs which he did. But Jesus did not commit himself to them because he knew all men and had no need that anyone should testify of man, for he knew what was in man. Oh, what if Jesus had sacrificed his relationship with his Father for the approval of men? He knew all men, so he didn't commit himself to them. Not that he was not faithful to them. No, he was. But he ensured that whatever he did for man was at the pleasure of his Father. Oh, have you noticed that the ministry of Jesus was never motivated by human need, but was rather led by the Spirit? It wasn't motivated by human need. He didn't just see. How many of you noticed that when Jesus went to the pool of Bethesda, he healed just one man and left? Haven't you seen in the book of John chapter 5? Is it on record that he healed any other person there? No. He went there and saw the man. He went straight to that man. Do you want to be well? The man started telling some stories. It's okay, rise up. You're okay now. He turned back. He left. Was it because he did not see other sick people there? No. He was a man under authority. He was a man with one mandate, which was to bring pleasure to his Father. No wonder God, the Father, looked at him and said, this is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. With whom I'm well pleased. Have you equally noticed that when he was told in John chapter 11 that his friend by the name of Lazarus was sick, that the Bible says, Jesus said, this sickness is not unto death, but that the Father may be glorified through it. And he stayed back where he was for how many days? 2 days. They even said to him, the one whom you loved. In other words, it didn't matter how much Jesus loved Lazarus. His love for Lazarus was not going to stand between him and his Father. His love for Lazarus was not going to stand between him and his pleasing his Father. Because at the time he was giving that news, he did not have the green light to go. He didn't have it to go. So he stayed back where he was. Because as far as he was concerned, he lived to please his Father. Why are you living? Why are you living? 2 days he remained in the same place. To the point that when eventually he got to the to the grave site, even the sisters were like, if you had come before now, our brother would not have died. If he had come before now. But Jesus lived for an audience of one. He lived for an audience of one. That's why he could say to those who were around him, he said, it is as I hear that I judge. It's as I hear that I judge. So it is important for us to understand this morning that if we will effectively fulfill God's plans for our lives on earth, we must be a people who live for an audience of one. And that person is God. He has made it clear that he is the Alpha and what? The Omega. In other words, before him there is none. After him there is none. There is none. A major reason why people today do so many things they shouldn't go where they shouldn't go, and live in ways they shouldn't live is simply because they are trying to win somebody's approval somewhere, even if that person's approval is against God's will for their lives. They're trying to win the approval. Let these people like me. Let me be in their good books. Let me be in their good books. Because if I have them on my side, I know that I will achieve this or I will achieve that. Many, the Bible tells us in Proverbs 29 verse 26, seek the ruler's attention. They seek an audience with the ruler. They are looking for people who matter. They are looking for people who matter. Because as far as they are concerned, those who matter are those who can make the difference in their lives. Are those who can make the difference in their lives. But the Bible says that justice for man. Oh, justice for man. Justice for man. I want to marry that woman that is from a rich family. Because if I marry her, what? I'll be in the good books of her father. If I marry that lady, I'll be in the good books of her father. And since her father, owns companies, if I'm in his good books, I know that I am financially settled. Is that not what happens at times? I want to be in his good books, so I'm going to marry her. Even when God says it is not. Even when God says she's not the one. Who am I living to please? I want to go there. I want to do this with those people. Because the moment I do it, this will happen, that will happen, I will have this advantage, I will have that advantage. But you see, sometimes we fail to understand that we may know what is happening around us at the moment, we are not, or rather we are that though we may know what's happening around us at the moment, we are incapable of knowing the future. Incapable of knowing the future. Oh, I can show you from the Bible many people who lived for an audience of one. Daniel lived for an audience of one. He escaped the lion's den. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego lived for an audience of one. They escaped the burning fiery furnace. Mordecai lived for an audience of one. He escaped the gallows that Haman had erected for him. Many of you are familiar with that account in the Bible. I hope I'm correct. Haman hated him. So I'm going to destroy this man. I'll kill him. But in fact, it got to a point. Why did Haman hate him? He would not bow down like every other person bowed to Haman. You see? And many of them were bowing to Haman, not because they liked him, or even because they truly respected him, but because Haman occupied a prominent position in King Ahasuerus' kingdom. They wanted to be in his good books. So each time he passed, everybody would just fall. Each time he passed. But because Mordecai was a Jew, and as a Jew, he was supposed to live for the audience of one, he was supposed to bow only to one. He did not join them in what they were doing. And when, information got to Haman that was Mordecai's attitude towards him, he was infuriated. But guess what? He despised the idea of killing Mordecai alone. He said, I want to destroy his people. You see how wicked man can be. I want to end everybody. I don't want to kill only him. Let me finish his tribe. Let me finish everybody from his ethnicity. That's only when I'll be satisfied. And this man was in the good books of the king. There is great power in living for an audience of one. When God is that one. When God is that one, sir. The plot. In fact, if you read the account carefully, you will discover that had God not stepped in, Mordecai would have been a gunner. Because, I love God. He's faithful. How many of you know that even before the destruction of the Jews, Haman decided that he was going to, because his wife and advisors said, if the sight of this man so irritates you, just command that a gallows be erected so that you can hang him. Then when you hang him, then you can join the king at Esther's banquet. And he said, okay, yes, why not? They erected it. And he was going to meet the king the following morning to tell him that he wanted Mordecai hung. And I believe very strongly that if God had not intervened, the king would have consented to it. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because he was in the good books of the king. But the Bible says that night, the king could not sleep. Why? Because someone who lived for an audience of one was about to be destroyed by a man. The king couldn't sleep. It didn't matter how comfortable his bed was. It didn't matter how, good the entertainment that they had brought to him was. It didn't matter how delicious the meal he had eaten that night was. It didn't matter at all. He lost his ability to sleep. Because, sir, it doesn't matter what you have. If God does not give you the ability to sleep, you can't sleep. You can't sleep. Go to the United States and buy a bed. You'll be lying on that bed wide awake. Are you getting what I'm saying? He couldn't sleep that night. Of all nights, that was the night the king could not sleep. Possibly he even took some drinks. Let me take some drinks. Maybe they will, bring drowsiness on me, and then I will go to sleep. But discovered that each time he drank, his eyes were wide open. So he didn't know what to do. He was bored. Then he said, okay, bring me the book of the Chronicles. Who do you think directed his heart to that direction? Or in that direction? Let me have the book of the Chronicles. What was the king going to be looking at the book of Chronicles? The man was bored. Okay, let me just scroll. Let me go. And then suddenly, he came to the place where it was written. It was recorded that Mordecai had disclosed a plot sometime prior to destroy, a plot by the king's servants to destroy him. I think Bigthana and Teresh or Zeresh or something. They planned to destroy their master. And information got to Mordecai. He found out. And they went to tell Esther. And Esther told the king and gave the credits to Mordecai. And it was recorded. Yet, nothing was done about it. Please, I want you to hear me. Listen, when you do some things that you feel are good, that you feel you should have been rewarded for, or that you feel somebody should have commended you for, and it seems nobody commends you, and it seems everybody overlooks you, hear me. Keep silent. Did you hear what I just said? Because God knows how to save such things in the archives for your tomorrow. For your tomorrow. What if he had been rewarded then? There would have been nothing to reward him at that present time for. See, there is somebody who knows everything about everything. There is someone who understands. He knows everything, sir. Joseph said, remember me when you get out of here. Talk to Pharaoh about me, please. I'm a Hebrew. They brought me here. I didn't do anything. Please tell him something concerning me. You see, I've helped you. I helped you interpret your dream and all that. The Bible says the man left the prison. For 2 solid years, he forgot Joseph. He forgot Joseph. Now, some of us would have been mad at God. Is that not so? I always do good for people. They forget me. What kind of thing is this? God! But Joseph continued being faithful. If that man had remembered Joseph before the time, Joseph would not have been the prime minister. Because Joseph would simply have been remembered only for them to go and plead with Potiphar to release him. And maybe they would have released him on grounds of mercy. And Potiphar would have been feeling big. I just had mercy on you just to release you. Because they begged me from Pharaoh's court to release you. Come on, come out and go back to work, idiot. That's how you would have left the prison. Are you getting what I'm saying? But God had a bigger plan. Bigger plan. Much bigger plan. Joseph was going to leave the prison in the company of royal escorts. You didn't hear me. That was how he was supposed to leave. That was how they were supposed to say, you didn't know that man stood and they shaved him. Oh, you don't understand. They shaved him. They dressed him up. They applied perf and everything. He just stood. Why? He was coming to Pharaoh. You dare not bring him to Pharaoh looking tattered, otherwise you lose your life. You see? So they made sure they beautified him. Because when you live for an audience of one, and the time comes for him to exalt you, sir, even rulers bow before you. Because he is not king, sir. He is the king of kings. Kings fear him. Remember me. He forgot him. But the day he remembered, it was God that jolted his memory. Because it was time. It was God that jolted his memory. He said, oh, I have sinned. Oh, I did something bad. Somebody helped me. One Hebrew boy in the prison. They said, go and fetch him. Quickly, don't waste time. That's how he came. He lived for an audience of one. Mordecai was going to be killed that morning. And the night before, the king could not sleep. Because Jehovah, who is the first and the last, who knows the end from the beginning, said, I have somebody who has been living to please me. I can't be here and watch him destroyed by a man. So king, no sleep tonight. Go search the record. Search. Because you must understand that everything God created has an ear for him. There is nothing God created that doesn't hear God. It doesn't matter how wicked a king is, sir. When God speaks, he hears. Get up! Look at the books. Began to look at the books. And you know, there's something interesting about God. God can make you do something and it will look like you are the one who just wanted to do it. We have to look at the book. Then he saw that place. what has been done for this man? What has been done for this man? They said, nothing, no. Nothing has been done. It's okay. Must do something. Early in the morning. How many of you know that God is the best coordinator we have? When he coordinates, things move perfectly. The best coordinator. How did God coordinate the timing in such a way that when the king was thinking of what to do for Mordecai was exactly when Haman was walking into the court? And the king was even asking, who is in the court? How come it was not another person? How come it was Haman himself that was there? Haman just entered. And the king said, okay, what should be done for so. How come the king did not say, hey, Haman, come? Yes, that's true. Sit down. Do you know that Mordecai unveiled a plot against me? What should we do for him? No, he started by what should be done for a man in whom the king has great pleasure. Mordecai felt, who else would the king have such a pleasure in, if not me? Who else would the king have that kind of pleasure in, if not me? Mordecai forgot to understand that God still had 7,000 in the secret place that he knew nothing about. He thought he was the one in the good books of the king. Little did he know that Mordecai was the real deal, that he was only there to pave way for Mordecai to take over. He said, I'm the one now, so he made sure he gave the best prescriptions. He gave the best recommendation. You know, when something is for you, you know what it means now. You want to give the best because this is for you. You know, every human being is naturally selfish. So he gave the best. Let them put a robe on him. Let him ride on the royal horse. Let the king's best servant, most honored servant, go with him through the street, shouting, this is what will be done for the one in whom the king has pleasure. The one the king wants to honor. And when he finished, the king said, okay, good. Now, go and do that for Mordecai. Make sure that one thing out of what you mentioned did not miss. Go and do it for him. In shame, he took Mordecai around. Oh, you see, there is great joy in living for an audience of one when God is that person. That day, the downfall of Haman began. That day. That very day. Because he attempted to touch a man who had learned how to live for God's pleasure.